Welcome to Cybersecurity Insiders, where we explore the latest IT security tools and cybersecurity solutions, making it easier for you to protect your organization's data, systems, and networks. I'm Holger from Cybersecurity Insiders, and in today's product spotlight, we're focusing on password and credential security in Active Directory environments. Joining me today is Josh Parsons, and Josh is marketing manager at Enzoic, a leader in password management. Today, we're going to take a closer look at Enzoic for Active Directory, an easy-to-use tool that helps organizations quickly identify, monitor, and fix unsafe passwords. All right, let's jump right in. Josh, can you tell us more about Enzoic and the key use cases and features of Enzoic for Active Directory and how it strengthens password security?
Yeah, thanks, Holger. Let me tell you a little bit about who we are as an organization and why we exist as a company. So, central to all of our solutions is our dark web threat intelligence database. And what this allows organizations to do is proactively secure their environment in response to what's being traded on the dark web. So, for example, if there's a password or username and password combination from your environment that's actively being trafficked on the dark web, this should probably raise red flags for your security team. And many compliance standards, such as NIST or High Trust, agree with this as well. It's crucial for organizations to monitor their networks for compromised passwords and credentials. And Zoic allows you to accomplish this quite easily, as we'll walk through today, and then also extends the functionality of Active Directory by giving you additional policies which otherwise aren't natively available. And what you're looking at here, this is the main dashboard. And our dashboard is pretty simple. It's very actionable. It gives you a snapshot of everything an admin would need to know. So you can verify system connections here in the top left. And then moving over to the right, you can see if there are any compromised passwords or credentials. And you can make sure you're compliant with NIST 863B standards. And this is one of the more strict frameworks out there. And by complying with this, you're also complying with a host of other standards. Many others have the same requirements, and there are also others that in the future will probably require monitoring for compromised credentials. And going down into the monitoring policies section, this is where you can configure everything. And here you have complete control over your account security. And Enzoic allows you to set up multiple policy configurations. And what we typically see is what I have here is we see organizations set one policy for a majority of their users, and then another policy for privileged accounts, which I have here named as admin. And some of the things you'll be able to configure is in these tabs. So password changes, here you can enable this setting, which prevents users from setting their password to a compromised password. So whenever there's a password change event in your environment, this setting will check in real time to ensure that the new password is not compromised. And we verify this using our dark web database. And our system not only makes sure that your users set secure passwords, but also continuously monitors them to detect any subsequent compromise. And this is important because a password that you set can be secure today, but compromised tomorrow. And you can do that here under the password monitoring section, and then likewise under the credentials monitoring section.
So this is interesting, Josh. Quick question: what's the difference between password monitoring and credentials monitoring?
Yeah, great question. This is one that we get all the time. And passwords are standalone. And the difference with credentials is that credentials are username and password combinations. And we typically see most of our customers put a stricter setting for credentials, because if credentials are exposed, that means that one of your users likely reused their username and password or email and password on another website. That website was exposed through a data breach, and now your organization is exposed. And as an example here, under my administrator policy, I've configured it so that if full credentials are exposed, the user is notified, and then they have 3 hours to change their password. And if after those 3 hours they still haven't changed their password, the account is disabled for security reasons until they're able to change the password. Enzoic gives you a number of password policy options, such as rejecting common passwords found in cracking dictionaries, fuzzy matching detection. This is also called leet speak. So like a 3 for an E or a 0 for an O. And then also screening root passwords. And this is the strictest setting. For example, if Josh123 and Josh321 are exposed online, both have the same root password, which is Josh. And if this root password is compromised, it would not be an allowed password when this setting is disabled. So a very strict setting, and one that I have in my admin policy, but for my primary policy, I typically leave that off since it is strict. And we also give you options to configure policies against using personal information like names or emails. You can prohibit repeating characters or similar passwords to previous ones. And to ensure smooth password changes without latency, you can set a maximum timeout during resets. And the system is designed to fail open, meaning if the latency is above the value that you set, the password change proceeds, and then it will be checked during the regular monitoring cycle. So there's never a lapse in protection, and there's never any friction with the user experience. You can also create a custom password dictionary, which lets you block specific words from your organization or relevant to the area or industry you're in. And on mine, I have our company name, the city, and the state that we reside in. And this is a contains field. So any password containing these words is going to be rejected. And it is case insensitive. So for example, Colorado here, doesn't matter if the C is capitalized, lowercase, same for every letter in that word, it will be rejected. And admin notifications allows you to set the email you want the alerts to go to. And of course, you can also integrate Enzoic with your SIM tool, so you always have access to those alerts and be able to correlate that data. And here's client settings. We do have a Windows client that can be deployed to the endpoints. And what this client will do is let your users know your policies as they're setting up their password. And if they try to set a password that's out of policy, it's going to let them know why the password wasn't accepted. And you can also integrate with an alternate credential provider as well. So if you're using MFA or 2FA through a third party like Duo, this will allow you to give the feedback through there. And moving to reporting, we give you some great visibility and reporting capabilities. Mine looks a little bit atypical since this is a demo environment, but here is where you can view and export password change events, the number of checks and matches for compromised passwords, and we give you a central dashboard to see all your users. And lastly, here's the test page. It lets you test passwords for compromise. And just to show you an example of how this works, under username, I can type in administrator, and I know that will be in my administrator policy. And as a test password, let me try Boulder, Colorado. And what I actually did here was replace most of the O's with zeros. And let's test to see if this would be an accepted password. And we can see here that the password is compromised. Under the results, we can see that it was detected by the local custom dictionary, so the one I configured, and it was matched on fuzzy match. So those zeros instead of O's, that falls under the fuzzy match. It was also picked up by the Enzoic Passwords API. Seems like in Boulder, Colorado, it's probably a common password, so it makes sense that it was exposed, and it was matched on fuzzy match. And to wrap things up, Enzoic for Active Directory prevents your employees from reusing compromised credentials. It makes sure that your organization is compliant with NIST and HITRUST, among others, and it automates an expanded list of policies with automatic remediation. And you can come on our website, download the solution. The full solution is completely free for up to 20 users. And we also have a free solution as well called AD Lite, which lets you see the present risk in your environment.
Thank you, Josh. That was a great overview of Enzoic for Active Directory. Can you tell us just a little bit more about integration implementation, like how fast, easy, what do our people in our audience need to consider when implementing Enzoic?
Yes, the vast majority of our customers are up and running within 1 hour, many within 15 minutes. Enzoic is installed on every read-write domain controller in your environment. Has to be at least one of them on-prem. Once you get that installed, very easy to set up. I showed the entire solution here. So once you configure those policy options, everything will be automated. So enforcement when passwords are compromised, credentials are compromised, the enforcement of that is automated. They automatically get an alert according to the policy options that you set. So very, very simple, and I encourage everyone to go try it for yourself.
Thank you, Josh, for the great walkthrough of Enzoic for Active Directory. Really powerful solution. Now, with new cyber threats constantly evolving, staying ahead with robust security measures is more important than ever. And that's where Enzoic for Active Directory steps in, offering advanced features that boost password security and ensure compliance for Active Directory. For more details on Enzoic and their password security solution, make sure to check out the website shown on the screen. There you can download a free version of Enzoic for Active Directory and scan your environment for unsafe passwords. All right, thanks for joining us for today's product review. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on the latest cybersecurity innovations. And until next time, have a great day.